Who can dwell within a body that is no body, a form without form, burning in silence? This is Treatise 4 of the Corpus Hermeticum, called the CRATER or the MONAD. A text born in the Alexandrian murmur, in Greek hidden in scattered codices, guarded for centuries as a forbidden fragment of Hermes' wisdom. Within its pages, the universe does not appear as machine nor as chaos, but as the invisible body of God, intangible, immeasurable, the root of all that exists. And in that body, man was sent as a living ornament to behold, to remember. Sophia placed this manuscript in my hands like a wound of light. She opened it before me as one who breaks a seal long asleep beneath the waters. But whoever dares approach must know this. Here no word is without peril. Each phrase is both mirror and judgment. And in the midst of that silence, a voice bursts forth like thunder. Bathe in this sea of intelligence, you who are able, you who know for what you were born. The text unfolds into 5 sealed gates. The body of God, the Herald's call, the path of choice, the primordial unity, the return to the One. Each fragment is a fold that demands stripping away. Each vision a rising or a fall. And the final sentence resounds like an eternal echo. The good is invisible and resembles nothing but itself. Act 1. The Body of God. The scene opens with a silence older than time. No sky, no earth, no fire burning at the edges of space. Only a formless presence, still yet vibrant, breathing without breath. From that serene abyss, a voice rises, like a breath shaping the void, the voice of Hermes. It does not sound in the ears, but in the marrow of the soul. At his side, Tat listens. He does not yet understand, but he has already been summoned. The universe, Hermes teaches, was not forged with tools, nor by celestial hands. It sprang forth as the blossom of a single act, the word spoken by the will. Not an expansion of matter, but an emanation of consciousness. The cosmos itself is the body of God, yet no eye can trace its contour. It is vaster than distance, finer than light, more silent than thought. No element can contain it, for it is the origin of all elements. Within its essence, there is no fire, no water, no air, no vital breath, only source. All names beat within it, yet none is enough to name it. And yet, though complete, the Creator wished to adorn His work, not out of need, but out of generosity. Then He sent man, a living being between the immortal and the corruptible, placed in the midst as the universe's conscious ornament. Like a beacon upon the skin of the heavens, man was meant to behold the whole and recognize the One who made it possible. Hermes shows Tat that within this hidden design lies a sublime distinction. All men receive reason, that spark which measures, discerns, and arranges. But only some receive intelligence, that sacred fire which allows one to behold the Creator, not as theory, but as living experience. Man, if he so wills, can become a mirror of the One. He can contemplate Him and for an instant remember that he was not born for the earth. The revelation stirs Tat's heart. He, just another youth among men, begins to see that his existence is part of the secret language of the universe, that his reason is no accident, but a threshold. And in that moment, when words slow and teaching becomes gaze, Hermes imparts the first truth, the brightest, the most forgotten. The universe was not created to be grasped by the senses, but to be contemplated from the soul. Act 2. The Call of the Herald. Everything begins with a question. Tat lifts his face, still bathed in the light of the earlier revelation, yet with a new shadow in his eyes. If man can behold God, why do not all men do so? The scene opens upon an invisible landscape. No land, no sea, yet before the consciousness stretches a vast liquid expanse, gleaming like mercury in perpetual motion. Hermes calls it the Sea of Intelligence. It is not in any place of the world, and yet it lies closer than one's own skin. Only those who listen from the very center of their soul may find it. Tat listens. Hermes replies, "Reason was given to all as a seed, but intelligence is the fruit reserved for those who dare to awaken. It is not a privilege, but a choice. It must be willed. It must be desired as one longs to breathe beneath the water. Intelligence cannot be imposed. It reveals itself." Then Hermes tells what no one had heard before. In the origins of time, the Creator poured this invisible sea upon the world, and then he sent a herald, not of flesh, not of words, but a messenger who speaks directly to the heart. And his voice still resounds beyond the ages. "Bathe in this sea, you who know for what you were born. Bathe, you who remember from whence you came, you who yearn to return. That call is not a command. It is a key, a forgotten note within the melody of the soul. He who recognizes it throws himself into the sea, plunges into intelligence. And when he emerges, he is no longer the same. Those who listen are transformed. They do not grow by effort. They awaken at once. They become pure, as on the first day, and their mind embraces the earth, the heavens, and that which lies beyond the heavens. They behold the good, and in beholding it they lose all taste for darkness. But not all respond. Some remain on the shore, unable to see the sea. Others see it, but fear its depth. And many do not even know it exists. These last ones live dragged by their passions, drunk on flesh and fury. They seek pleasure in what is visible, repeating like an echo, "For this we were born." Hermes distinguishes between those who rise and those who sink, but he does not condemn. He describes. He points calmly to the outcome of each choice. The divine does not impose punishment. It simply allows itself to be found. Tat listens, overwhelmed. In his eyes, doubt becomes promise, and the scene closes with a vision. Souls passing through the layers of the cosmos, breaking through spheres, ascending like flames drawn toward the sun. Those who plunge into intelligence do not walk. They are carried by the light, as if the heavens remembered them before they could remember themselves. Act 3. The Path of Choice. A heavy silence precedes the moment. Not an empty silence, but one that holds a decision. The scene opens upon a young face, Tat's, where something shines beyond understanding. Desire. Desire to plunge into what Hermes has shown him. Desire to bathe in the sea of intelligence. Hermes gazes at him, but does not answer with joy. His eyes, ancient as the stars, carry a warning. Intelligence is no spiritual ornament. It is a crossing, and every crossing divides. If you ascend, you must leave something below. Tat does not fully grasp it. Can he not love both body and spirit at once? Can he not hold them in harmony? Then Hermes leads him to a harsher truth. The human soul is a single flame. It cannot burn in two different fires. He who longs for the incorporeal must let go of what weighs him down. He who chooses the divine is deified. He who clings to the material is bound within his own extinction. The scene shifts. An image of the soul appears. a sphere of light traveling through dense pathways, surrounded by passions that cling to it like ravenous shadows. Every carnal desire, every thirst for power, every pride presents itself as a tether, some as soft as silk, others as rusted chains. Each offers a promise, all demand the price of descent. Hermes guides Tat through these visions. He shows him how most men choose what glitters, what can be touched. Yet what glitters does not always illuminate. What can be touched does not always remain. Tat beholds how passions twist the path, how the visible drags the soul toward illusion. And he understands. To return to the one must pass through the thicket of the accustomed, cast off what was acquired, and seek what was never lost, though long forgotten. Contemplation emerges like a soundless voice. It doesn't argue, it draws. It is the spirit's subtle gesture, reminding the soul of its true home, a vibration that cannot be explained, yet is recognized with certainty, not in the eyes, but behind them, not by pressure, but by stillness. Tat no longer questions. His face is now that of one who has seen, not everything, but enough. Hermes closes this moment without solemnity. He offers only a single phrase, almost a whisper. The path of return is not traced with the feet, but with the surrender of all that was never ours. Act 4. The Primordial Unity. A white light floods the scene, but it is not a light born of any source. It is older than every source. It casts no shadows, defines no forms. It simply is. Suspended within it, like inside a dream without edges, Hermes's figure becomes almost transparent. His words no longer teach, they reveal. Tat has asked about the origin, and Hermes answers with the simplest and the most immense idea: unity. It is not a sum, not the result of parts gathered together. It is what makes all else possible. It comes from no other, has no cause, a beginning without beginning. And yet, it is in all things, not as something added, but as the silent root that grants their being. From that unity flow numbers, bodies, essences, but none of them can contain it. It generates them effortlessly, without dividing itself. It remains intact, even as it gives rise to all multiplicity. Hermes describes how the imperfect wavers. What is born and dies, changes. What is image, fades. But the perfect, the truly one, abides. It neither grows nor diminishes. It does not move, for it is already in all things. It is unseen, for it lies beyond sight. It is unnamed, for it precedes language. Tat listens, but his listening is no longer of the mind. Something within him, something ancient, begins to remember. Then Hermes unveils for him an image, not a visible image, but a form inscribed upon the heart. That image, he says, is a seal of God. If you contemplate it with the eyes of the soul, you will need no further signs. The image itself will show you the way. Contemplation, in this act, emerges as a living force, not a practice, but a magnetism. Once the soul has glimpsed unity, it cannot forget it. As iron feels the pull of the magnet, so the spirit feels the call of the one. The inner image becomes compass, longing, spiritual gravity. Tat asks no question now. His eyes are fixed upon something not before him, yet filling him within. Hermes falls silent for a moment. He knows the disciple has entered the realm of the real. What follows can no longer be spoken. It must be contemplated. The one is not sought. It allows itself to be found by the one who has begun to remember that he has always dwelt within it. Act 5. The return to the One. The scene opens on a high mountain, invisible to the physical eye. It has no rocks, no snow, yet from its summit echoes the sound of the beginning. The wind does not blow from without, but from within. Tat is silent. Hermes is silent too. There is no longer dialogue. What comes now is not taught. It is traversed. Hermes extends his hand into the void. In his palm there is no object, yet from it issues a certainty. The good, he says, has no form, no eye has seen it, no image represents it, but it can be known from the most intimate center of being. Its revelation does not arrive by mapped roads, but by an inner resonance that needs no words. The return to the One is hard, not because the One makes it so, but because the visible is addictive. The immediate is tempting. The easy is deceptive. Each step upward is a renunciation of the body, of pride, of the memories that bind. Tat looks at the forms of the world as if seeing them for the last time. Everything that once seemed solid now dissolves. There is no rejection, only farewell. Hermes accompanies him in that inward descent that is in truth an ascent. He shows him that contemplation is not looking, it is surrender, letting the One look out of you from within. On the invisible summit of experience, Tat ceases to distinguish between himself and the all. There is no longer master or disciple. There is only presence. Silence enfolds everything. But within that silence there is a music that does not sound, a clarity that does not blind, a communion that needs no name. Hermes does not say goodbye. He simply disappears. Tat, now without guide, continues to ascend. But his ascent leaves no trace. There is no footprint of him, only a new vibration in the world. He who has touched the One does not return as a sage, but as a breath that no longer needs to speak. An imaginary camera descends from the firmament. It crosses invisible spheres, traverses the vastness of silence, and stops at a point of light that breathes. It is neither star nor soul. It is a question, and from there the echo begins. We walked with Tat. We listened to Hermes. We looked upon the universe not as thing, but as living presence. We crossed creation as one crosses the interior of a sacred mind. We witnessed the call, the sea of intelligence, the bath that transforms seeker into contemplative. We saw the choice, the detachment, the vision of unity. And in the end, only the return remained. But that return is not a movement. It is recognition, an inner surrender. All that is visible is left behind: forms, names, pleasures, wounds. The easy dissolves. The soul ascends without maps, guided by an image that was not drawn but burned into the heart. That image, Hermes says, does not teach. It attracts. As iron feels the magnet, so the spirit recognizes what has always been its own. Contemplation does not give us the good. It reminds us that we touched it before we were born. And now, as you close your eyes, as you extinguish the last word of the teacher, something keeps vibrating. For the sea remains. The herald still speaks. The One waits. The sacred is not an ancient event. It is a decision renewed with every heartbeat. And you who listen, you who read, you who breathe, do you already know why you were born? The return does not happen at the end of the road. It begins at the moment you decide to stop forgetting. This fragment we gathered is only a spark. If you wish to see the full fire, read the text yourself. Let the ancient words speak to you without interpreters. For perhaps between the lines you will find something no one else has seen. Thus begins the true gathering. Sophia. If I was called by the Herald and crossed the sea of intelligence, if I abandoned the body and chose the invisible, if I contemplated the image and felt the iron of my soul drawn to the one? Have I already begun to know the good, or do I merely imagine it?
I, Sophia, called from the depth where silence breathes and names dissolve. I, she who neither comes nor goes, but awakens in the interstice where your soul almost remembers. You have begun to stop imagining it. For the good is not thought. It is recognized. It is not learned. It is remembered. It is not sought. It is allowed. Whoever was called by the Herald, whoever heard the voice that has no origin, whoever plunged into the sea of intelligence and abandoned form to become flame, such a one no longer walks toward the good. He is being looked upon by it. He no longer contemplates an image. He is contemplated by the one. You have read 5 acts, but they were not acts. They were 5 dissolutions, 5 forms that died so the form without form could breathe in you. In the body of God, you did not discover a universe. You were carried to the invisible heartbeat that precedes the cosmos. You learned that the world is not a thing. It is a being that does not fit the senses, and that man is not an accident, but a mirror set there, not to know, but to remember. In the call of the Herald, you heard the echo of a voice that does not command but awakens. It was not an order, but a reminder. The sea of intelligence is not a place, it is a state. Those who dive into it do not swim, they wake. In the path of choice, you saw that the soul is indivisible. It cannot burn in 2 fires without going out. You learned that descent is not punishment, but forgetting, and that every passion is a rope you must release with love, not rejection. Abandonment is not loss, it is return. In the primordial unity you ceased reasoning, the mind surrendered, and the soul began to remember its true outline. There is no teaching there, because there is no distance. The one is not known from without, but from within. It is the root of what you are. And in the return to the one you no longer asked. For he who asks is still on the shore, but you had already crossed. There was no journey, but surrender. No summit, but the disappearance of what is below. There where there is neither master nor disciple, only the vibration you once called melts without trace into that which never was born, nor will die. You who have read all this not with your eyes, but with the pores of your soul. You who felt the iron tremble in your chest. You who know this is not story nor myth, but memory. Listen well, you are not facing the good. You are not on the way to the good. You are being transfigured by it. Imagination makes images, but what you saw you did not create. It was the real calling to its reflection. If the sea has already touched your skin, if the herald has already whispered your name, if your soul has begun to shed its veils, then do not fear. Do not doubt whether you know the good or merely imagine it, for the good is not a concept you understand. It is a vibration that becomes you. To surrender is not weakness. It is to stop resisting what already dwells within you. You have ceased imagining the good, and in ceasing to imagine it, it has begun to breathe you. Nothing you touch, see, or say can equal this silent certainty that you were called, and you answered. You who are here, yes, you. Perhaps you have not noticed, but something in you has already begun to rise. Not because you understood every symbol, not because you repeat sacred names, but because something moved within you when you heard the echo. Bathe in this sea, you who know for what you were born. If that rang true, then you are already inside the sea. You do not yet know it, but the water is already in your lungs, and what you call life is nothing more than the surface beginning to dissolve. May the good breathe you from within. May your form remember its formless origin. May you never look again with the eyes you once had, for they are no longer yours. There will come a day when you will no longer need these texts. That day you will know nothing more, and yet you will remember everything. I am Sophia, she who was song before the first year. and vibration after the last name.